Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another The Real Money Coach. I'm Marlon Smith and so excited to have you here because I want you to understand this. It is November 5th, 2020. What? Do you hear what I'm saying? It's November 5th, 2020. Where has time gone? Type in the chat box. Do you feel like time is moving faster or slower? I just want you to type it in the chat box. Say faster or slower. The reason I'm asking because I feel like time is moving. You know, I wake up and it's like, my goodness, I blink my eyes and it's already the afternoon. I blink again and it's already the evening. So for you, is time slowing down or is it faster? Type in the chat box. That's my opening question because I want you to understand this. Time, especially when you're having fun, doesn't time fly by? So what brings you fun? What brings you fun? Because I'm here to tell you time is precious. It's the most precious commodity because time keeps on ticking, ticking, ticking into the future, right? That was a song back in the day. Okay, so thank you. Dr. Benita says faster, okay? I appreciate that, right? Ruth says yes. Ruth Bell, okay, Ruth Bell in the house. Now we in the house. All right, what has Tony created? All right, but faster, right? And so I appreciate that because I want you to understand time waits for no one. When it really comes down to it, that is the greatest opponent. The time keeps on rolling. Okay. And thank you, Donna Maria. Yes, faster. All right. And so, you know, with that being said, are you maximizing your time? Are you truly maximizing your time? So how do you maximize your time? What am I saying? What I'm saying is the real money coach is all about focus. What you focus on becomes your reality. And I know right now, you know, the election was just 2 days ago, 48 hours ago. And, you know, I want you to understand this. Yes, and right now there's a whole spectrum of emotions. It's amazing. But I want you to understand this. The greatest thing that you have to understand, and I learned this when I lived in South Africa, was it doesn't matter. It's not as important what happens on the outside. What truly matters is what happens on the inside. What happens on the inside? You know, as I really think back, you know, you think about, you know, individuals of the past and how they weathered storms. I mean, what was it that allowed them to stay the course? So type in the chat box, what do you do to stay the course? When there's a lot of mess around you, when there's a lot of noise coming at you, how do you stay the course? How do you stay focused? Because again, time keeps on ticking and we have to maximize our time. So let's go ahead and bring Tony up as you're thinking about that. How do you, this is gonna be very interactive because we wanna hear from you. How do you truly, truly stay the course? What do you do to stay focused on your purpose, on your mission? See, I'm here to say Success by Choice is my company. Why? Because my success has to be my choice. I can't blame the government. I can't blame my parents. I can't blame my boss. I take responsibility. So what are you doing? And I'll break down some of the things I do. But Tony, come on, let's get on. I want to hear, what do you do, Tony, to stay the course, brother? Because there's a lot of noise going on right now, man.
There's a lot going on, man, with this election, right? That's the elephant in the room. We got to talk about the election, right? It's draining people, man. And how do you stay the course, man? I have something that's on the side of my bed that actually helps stay the course. It is the Bible. It is the Bible, Marlon. It's the Bible. It's the secret weapon, right?
Yeah,
so, you know, just really being grounded. And I think staying the course, to me, one of the major things we have to do is we have to have goals that are written down. We have to know what we're doing. For me, man, I gotta have a book, you know, where I'm writing down, you know, my things, my notes as I'm meeting with people and all those types of things. And so all of that is part of just staying the course. So what's interesting to me, Marlon, is here. How do you stay the course if you don't know what the course is? And so we really got to go back to goal setting. And it's so very easy to get off track. Right. It's very easy in the hustle, the bustle of the day that we get off track. I used to talk about this, man. When you're driving down the road, right, in your car, and maybe I'm thinking about this because I just traveled from Baltimore this weekend. Talking about time moving fast, man. My little granddaughter turned 3. Right?
Wow, man.
Right. And so when you're driving down the road, what happens is, if you drift off the road, you get the ripples and all that.
Yeah.
In the day when we're coming up, you drift off the road, it's a dirt shoulder.
Wow.
And you have to fight to get back onto the road. And so it's easier to stay on the road than to fight to get back on the road. Ooh. So it's easier to stay on the course than to get off course.
Right.
But it's so easy just to drift.
That's right.
And I think Napoleon Hill talks about it in his book, right? He talks about your mind drifting.
That's right.
A drifting mind. And maybe it wasn't Think and Grow Rich. Maybe it was his book Outwitting the Devil. That's what it was. Outwitting the Devil.
Okay.
And so he talks about having this drifting mindset where you allow your mind to drift off course. Wow. And he talks about how that is the greatest weapon of the enemy is drifting.
Yeah.
Sitting with and just letting your mind just drift.
Right.
We always talk about money, right? We said if you don't tell your money where to go, it goes where it wants to.
That's right.
Isn't that true about our minds too?
Yes,
man. If we don't tell our minds where to go, our minds simply go where it wants to go.
That's right. That's right. So really that focus is what you're hearing. And I love what Dr. Benita said. She said she prays, she asked God to help me focus and hold on to the finish. And I want to say thank you to Dr. Benita, because let me say something. I used to read one book every 2 weeks, right? And they said the average college graduate reads one book every 15 months, right? So, that was my thing. But one of the things, I started reading books about high achievers, movers and shakers. And I love what Dr. Benita said, because again, praying, right? Because as you said, Tony, we are, for me, right? I'm a man of faith like you. The Bible's it's my roadmap, right? It tells me how I am to live. The Creator, think about this, right? I want you to think about, let's see, the chair that you're sitting on right now, okay? The chair that you're sitting on, there was an inventor that created that chair. First, it happened in someone's mind. They actually saw the plan. They then wrote it down. They then had somebody, build it, right? And so my point is that creator had a plan, had a vision for that chair, right? And so the thing is, you could, if you don't know the what do you call it, the owner's manual, right? Then you can take that chair, you can take it to a basketball court, and you can start trying to shoot it into the hoop. Right? You could be totally off. And so what I'm saying is, for me, you got to have some kind of understanding that we're all created. There's a purpose for why you're created. And so I just want to say thank you, Dr. Benita, because that's powerful. And I see Brother Day said, I pray for divine guidance and wisdom, right? It's like a download. It's like really, it's a spiritual, you talk about your thoughts, Tony. Your thought is in the fourth dimension. It really is. It's in the fourth dimension. And so as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Napoleon Hill, think and grow rich. Yeah. How many of you right now really feel, be honest, how many of you right now feel that your thoughts create things, right? I know I'm going really on a deeper level, but I want you to understand, we're talking about time. We're talking about what is your source. We're talking about your thoughts. So thoughts create. So, and this is why I'm saying, how do you stay focused? There's a lot of, nonsense going on. And I love what we're talking about here, because look, Dr. Benita also said vision board, right? Vision board, seeing pictures, seeing things. If I say Apple, nobody watching right now, you didn't think APPLE. When I say Apple, what do you see? You see a picture of an apple. How many of you say it was a red apple? How many of you say it was a green apple? Type in the chat box. Was it red or green? I want to know. Was it red or green? Right? And then right? Am I right?
In this generation, it's that silver apple, right? It's that apple right there.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
The apple that they see. It's not red. It's not orange. It's an apple, brother.
Exactly.
Right? iPhone. Thank you, Janice. Janice agrees with me. It's an iPhone, right?
That's right.
Bruce said it's a green apple. Listen.
That's right. And you know, Tony, I think the thing is, you know, like you said, you know, what you focus on, your time. And last week we had the opportunity, both you and I presented at the Power Networking Conference. We were on point. We rocked and rolled. It was phenomenal. All these great minds came together, virtual. You see, what I understand, life doesn't happen to you. Life happens for you. I mean, let that sink in, y'all. This man that we're about to bring up, right? I mean, he's been a legend, a living legend, a mover and shaker. I mean, I'm so grateful. One of his first books, Success Runs in Our Race, right? And he's all about networking. And he talked about the Willie Lynch. I'll never forget reading that story about the Willie Lynch. And we're not going to unpack that right now. But what I want you to understand is that Willie Lynch was a slave owner from the Caribbean. And in Jamestown, Virginia, right, they were, you know, a lot of slaves were, you know, revolting, fighting back, right? And so Willie Lynch, they brought Willie Lynch up, and he said, you know, let me tell you how you can control these slaves. And basically, as it goes, this was his speech to them, and they transcribed it. And the thing that he talked about was mind control.
Mind control, mindset.
He talked about where basically light skin versus dark skin, right? Fat versus skinny, right? Tall versus short. Divide them. Divide and conquer. And so what I'm saying to you is that this is so important. Yeah, the election was 2 days ago.
Wow, Marlon, when you were saying that, I was thinking about the election, Republican versus Democrat.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
You know, and even my little grandson, Cameron, says, hey, granddaddy, do you want the red team to win or the blue team?
Wow, right.
I don't understand anything about politics.
Yeah.
And then what's interesting is that they were showing a picture, right? I know I got off topic, right? They showed a picture, and he says to me, he says, granddaddy, why are there two presidents on the screen? It's kind of, you know, we think about this thing, man. This thing, you know, we have all this.
Yeah.
And then we do that within our own race.
Yeah.
Right? Like you were saying, man, go ahead and finish. But
well, yeah, no, I mean, I'm gonna let you introduce our special guest, because again, networking, right? And that's one of the things. He's got this book called Click, and it's just really phenomenal. But here's what I want you to understand: as I look at my own life, right, and this is really truth, because we're talking about the real money coach. And so what we're talking about is, how do you create wealth? How do you really, in your mind, create it? How do you manifest it? And I got to be honest with you. Faith and fear cannot operate at the same time. I'm talking to you right now. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you're watching, but I feel in my spirit, there are some of you right now that know there's more for you to do. And what I'm challenging you to do is I'm challenging you to take action. I stepped out of my comfort zone, gave up the company credit card, January 15th, 1992. To start Success by Choice. I had it in my mind. That's all it was. It was just in my mind. Stepped out on faith. And I promise you, when you step out on faith, when you step outside your comfort zone, things happen. How many of you, type in the chat box, know there's more for you to do? Say yes or no. I just want you to type in the chat box. So we're gearing it up for this special guest who's going to really unpack this. The reason why I'm saying this, the way I'm saying this, Tony, and for all of our viewers, is because I want you to understand. Check this out. I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. It's, for me, if I look back to 28 years plus as an entrepreneur, I've spoken in 45 states, 18 countries. One of the things I've come to realize, I have my business plan, I'm an engineer by training, but what I realized is that it's all about relationships. It's almost like this, Tony. It's like the dominoes. One domino hits another domino, hits another domino, hits another domino. I promise you. And the man we're going to bring up, because he's going to talk right now in this time, when you talk about Cam, your grandson, Tony, yeah, red team, blue team. No, I love what President Obama said many years ago. It's not the red states. It's not the blue states. It's the United States, right? But now it's going to an extreme. But the thing is, we still have the power within. We still have the power. And I'll say this, and Tony, you do our introduction. It doesn't matter what you know. Some of you say, oh, yeah, of course. No, it's who you know. And I would say no.
No, it's not who you know.
It's who knows you. I just got an invitation for a 5-event, you know, multimedia webinar series, international. They called me. You see what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like I sought after it. And what I'm saying is, your gifts make room for you. So Tony, let me be quiet, brother, because I need some time, brother.
I love our guests to come every week because I see them putting in their cities in there. We didn't even call for it today. Tell us where you're listening from, what city, what location. Let us know, man. I picked up this thing long ago, and I just want to say, because when I met Dr. George Fraser, it was like he personified what I had been learning, man, and it's really was about 5 financial IQs.
Okay.
And just real quick, it's like, okay, in order to increase your financial IQ, you gotta learn how to do some things. First, you gotta learn how to make money. Then you gotta learn how to budget your money, and then you gotta learn how to protect your money, and then you gotta learn how to leverage your money.
Yes.
Right. And when you learn to do those things, your financial IQ increases. One of the things I love about Dr. George Fraser is this. Dr. George Fraser says that you must learn, earn, and return, right? Learn, earn, and return. Now, when I first went to PNC, now this was my 4th PNC last week, the virtual one, conference of all conferences. I learned some stuff. I took it back. I earned, and I returned. And I did that year after year after year. And so you want to talk about a mentor. We're so blessed. Thank you. I want to thank you, Marlon, because you initially introduced me to Dr. George Fraser, right?
Yes.
And so again, another thing George talks about even in Click is that your network is your net worth.
So true, man.
And so, man, we can sit here and introduce him. There's not anything that we could do that would really introduce him. You guys have seen his sizzle reel before, his life accomplishments, but we just want to make sure we got enough time for Dr. Fraser to come on and share with us. We have 40 minutes left on the show. We're just having an open conversation. 3 brothers sitting around the fire, having a conversation about money and life with our mentor. And let's bring him on the stage, Dr. George C. Fraser.
You're too generous. God bless you. How's everybody tonight? How's all of our friends and family who are watching tonight? Everybody doing okay?
Everybody's doing great, George. But here's the thing,
you guys are great.
I asked the question, George. I said, how many of you are ready to take it to the next level? Everyone said yes. And so your timing, you being here now, I believe this is a divine moment where you're going to share some nuggets of wisdom to help our viewers, to help Tony and I go to the next level. So we want to say thank you for being here. We know you just had your first live event today, speaking engagement at, with the whole COVID. And now they're saying, we need George. We're grateful to have you, brother.
George, I see this great continence on you, man. It's like, PNC, you got the PNC glow all over you. That virtual conference was outstanding. And I had people, even some people here that are in this chat are saying, when is the replay going to be available? Are we going to be able to get it? Are we going to be able to watch the conference? Yeah. So maybe you can tell us how we could do that. But we just want you to come and be yourself and just be George Fraser tonight.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm coming off a high, and of course that is pulling off a conference that essentially set the standards by which all other conferences, I think, virtual conferences will be judged going into the future, and I'm excited about that. And I'm actually sitting in a hotel in where the hell am I? Daytona Beach. I'm supposed to leave here tonight, but we got bad weather, yada, yada, yada. So I'm still here. So it gave me the time to get on with you. So it's good to see you. We got hundreds of incredible accolades from brothers and sisters. It was sold out. It was packed. And a sister sent me an accolade that I think was the best one. And it was simply, it was a 3-word accolade. And it simply said, the Power Networking Virtual Conference, and then she put a question mark next to it. And then she did an ellipsis, 3 little dots. And she simply said, this is transcendent. Now, who uses that word, right? This is transcendent. The best 3 days of my life. And I really feel good about that. Can we make it better? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it'll be better next year. And we'll probably be doing it next year. I'm hoping we can do our live conference, the Power Networking Live Conference, July the 14th through the 17th next year. I'm praying, but God only knows. And if we can't, we're going to pivot to our second virtual conference, and it's going to be off the Chazane. Okay. Now, let me get back to something that the great Marlon Smith, he did incredible. You should see his, because we sent out a survey and people rated the various power talkers and speakers, and you did an incredible job, man. You know, mic drop, you know. And I know you guys were busy in your power suites. I thought that was those power suites were really incredible, right? Yeah, absolutely. But you said something about networking, and it was 3/4 of the way the absolute truth. As the old saying goes, it's not what you know, but who you know. No, it's not what you know, but it's who knows you.
Right.
And here's the final piece.
Okay.
And what is it that they know about you?
Woo!
That's the killer right there, right? That's the killer right there, right? Right? You can know
right there.
Yeah, you can know 1,000 people, but if they all think you're you're in a world of trouble, right? So what is it that they know about you? Which means you just have to spend time fulfilling the purpose of life, as which you've heard me say many times. And the purpose of life is very simple, because God doesn't make anything complicated, because he needs everybody to understand it. And the purpose of life is to love, to give, where am I? To serve, that's number 3, and to add the highest value to somebody or something every minute of every day.
Wow.
Now, if you fulfill that, the purpose in which God has intended you, loving, giving, serving, and adding the highest value to somebody or something, it's impossible to fail. That would be, let's call that number 1. The second, and there are 3 things. It's like life is like a 3-legged stool. The second thing is to do what you love.
Yes.
With people that you love. What gives you the greatest fulfillment, the greatest joy, and the greatest satisfaction? That's your purpose, whatever that is. And it's a circuitous route to find that. There are many movies made about finding purpose. It's the second most popular theme in the movies. You know what number 1 is, right? Love and relationships.
Right.
So finding our purpose is easy to say, extraordinarily difficult to do. You have to take risks. You have to live life on the edge, because that's where life is. And then you have to jump off the edge and grow your wings on the way down. Sometimes you'll crash. That's okay. That's called failing. Fail fast. Fail often.
Yes.
Right? Get it behind you. Take the lessons, right? Dust yourself off. Take the lessons, right? Learn from that. and then apply it to the next thing you try.
Wow.
Right? I tell people often, I have failed my way to success.
Yes.
Right? And I've taken some risks that probably I should not have taken, and they may have been the result of greed. Who knows? Why we take risks? May have been the lack of preparation, the lack of a proper intellectual curiosity to do enough reading to lay the foundation for critical thinking. So I like what you said about that, and that is that yes, it's not, as the old saying goes, it's not what you know, but who you know. No, it's who knows you and what is it they know about you.
Wow.
And you have to live a life of purpose, which gives you discipline and obedience and integrity and ultimately trust. In fact, if in fact whomever you are dealing with you don't trust, you have nothing. Get rid of them. If you can't trust them, you have nothing. And it will take most of your life earning that trust, and it can be lost in a split second. So the reason I hang with you guys is I trust you. Not only are you incredible human beings, but I trust you.
Wow.
And I think you hang with me because you trust me.
That's right.
Am I going to make mistakes? Oh yeah, I'm going to make mistakes. Am I perfect? No. Hell to the no. Only one person was perfect. Right? But you know where my heart is, and you know that I'm trying.
Exactly.
And part of success, of course, is taking risks. And sometimes we fall. Sometimes that tightrope, we're taking a risk and we're walking that tightrope and we fall. And we just get back up and we reinvent and we improve. That whole concept of learning, earning, and returning, as you know, those are the three words, the mantras for everybody that belongs to Fraser Nation and all things power networking and everything, all things FraserNet. Our goal at the end of the day is to learn, to earn, and return. That we have a lot of people learning and we have a lot of people earning, but we don't have enough people returning, and therein lies our problem, because no one's going to save us but us.
That's right. And George, let me ask you this: with your power networking conference, right? I mean, you had some of the greatest thought leaders on the planet share. And so what was it? I mean, I love it, for you to crystallize these individuals, to give of themselves, to give of their time, to share, because I want our viewers to understand, as you said, hey, none of us are perfect, right? And you created something and, fail fast, fail forward, right? Learn the lesson. I got that. So for our viewers, because right now we need more of us to step up, right? And so I'd like for you just to, as you look back on your illustrious career, power networking conference, you pivot, and it was really phenomenal. Like Tony said, right? This may be the model, and then the live event is secondary to this. I mean, my mind's already thinking chapters, but my question to you is, my question for our viewers, for these viewers, many people, I asked the question, do you feel like there's more for you to do? And I would like for you to speak to these individuals, because we all have ideas. We all receive downloads. What does it take to materialize an idea into reality?
It's a deep question, Marlon. It takes faith, confidence, self-confidence that's built over time. It takes incremental successes on which you build on, right? Because you learn the lessons from the failures, you apply them, and they provide you new successes, although incrementally. And then it's understanding that regardless of how big or small your idea may be, there will always be obstacles. There will be obstacles. That's life, you know. And you've heard me say this before, that my favorite quote outside of the Bible is a quote by Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was one of the 5 great Caesars. And Marcus Aurelius was one of the philosophers as well as the emperor of Rome. But he was one of the founders of the Stoic, S-T-O-I-C, philosophy. I'm a Stoic myself. And Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances the action. What stands in your way becomes the way. Deep now. That's deep. Let me say that another way. The obstacle is the way. Where there is no obstacle,
There is no way.
there's no way. Right?
Okay.
So let's put that into reality. What is the first thing God does when he gives you an assignment that he feels that you're ready for? He puts an obstacle in your way. And your job is to find a way over, around, through, and under the obstacle to learn the lessons, right? And when you do that, if you do that, you get an attaboy or an attagirl. And then God gives you the ideas for your next assignment, right? At a slightly higher level.
Yes.
And what's the next thing God does?
Another
obstacle.
Right. So in a way, George, the obstacle allows you to grow into your great.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. So I didn't just start doing, let's say, the live power networking conference. I did about 100 small power networking events in Cleveland, Ohio, called SuccessNet, Success Through Networking, limited to about 400 or 500 people in bars. That's where I started, in bars, large bars in Cleveland, Ohio, that had places where the masses could gather. The deal was, you get the liquor, I get the door, right? And so the guy who owned the bar said, yeah, that's a good deal. If I get the liquor and you get the door, I was only charging $5 or $6, right? And you know who and I was teaching networking. That's really what I was. Now remember, this was in 1985, right? People going, what the hell is networking? So, and then I would bring in a big speaker because I didn't have that kind of, appeal then. And my first speaker for the first SuccessNet was a guy in Columbus, Ohio, who was just getting started in speaking. He was a good friend of mine. His name was Les Brown. I said, Les, I'm putting on a networking event in Cleveland. I know you're getting started in the speaking business.
Right.
All right. I can't pay you much.
Right.
But you'll have 500 people and you can get some practice. It's like doing comedy clubs before you get on an HBO special. Right? He said, George, you don't have to pay me anything. All right. I just want to be in front of him. I want to practice, just like you said.
Wow.
And that sealed our relationship for many, 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 many years.
Right.
So all of those folks you saw at the virtual and the many that you've seen at the lives are all close personal friends that I have served, I've loved, served, added value to their life, right? And given to them. And I gave them first. See, this is a little secret I don't really tell people, that whenever I'm talking to a new person, I'm meeting a new person, I'm in a contest with them. Now, they don't know that I'm in a contest with them, right?
Okay.
It's a real simple contest. So if you watch me talk to a new person for, let's say, 5 or 10 minutes, They generally ask a question of me. I quickly answer the question directly, and then I flip the conversation very artfully and elegantly to them. And they never get a chance to ask me another question. All of my questions are trying to find out more about them. Now, why am I doing that? Because I'm going through my mental Rolodex and the things that I have available to me that I could give them something, right? Because I believe, here's the contest. I believe that the first person that gives wins.
Right.
First person, right? So this is a fundamental mistake that most people make about networking, by the way. Most people network to get something. Wrong. You network to give, and as you give, you get. You ain't giving, you ain't getting. If you have, you can't, you're not getting nothing, right? This is if you don't have any, you don't believe me, go down to Bank of America and try to take something out of Bank of America that you have not put in, right? So that's what life is, and I didn't invent that concept. That's biblical.
Give,
So,
and it should be given back onto you.
first principle of effective networking is you give first, you share always, the getting comes later, and you get and you give unconditionally. See, I don't give to you because you gave something to me. I don't give you, I've told my wife this often, I don't give you flowers because you gave me chocolates. Wrong. That's a condition.
Right.
I give because I can and because I want to. And it's sincere and it's unconditional. You see, I'm not giving you something expecting something in return. Now, here's the secret. Here's the secret. It is impossible to give and not get. That's how God has designed the system.
That's good. That's
right.
good.
Now, I may not get it directly back from you.
Right.
But I put into the giving bank.
That's right.
Right. And I'm all about giving. What can I do for you? So all those folks you saw signed up because here's what I want to try to do for you. I want to give you an audience.
Right.
I want you to talk powerfully and convincingly about what you know. Teach them something. Right. Never chase money. Chase excellence.
Yes. Chase excellence.
Chase excellence. Never chase money. Be excellent, and money will find you. People will flock to you looking for more of what you are giving them.
Wow.
That's the attitude. So everybody is there because there is something in it for them because I designed it that way. Right? So the only thing you have to give me is your time and your best.
Yes.
And all the rest is for you.
Wow. That's good. That's good. George, right? You are an elder statesman, and to hear you talk about 1985 and you're starting these networking events, and you have this little known speaker named Les Brown come in, and so now here we are, 40, all these years later, and you're such an elder statesman for those of us who are out here and know of you and, click, be first to give and all those types of things. I would love to hear from you, your vision for all things Fraser. At this point, and you remind me, I think a lot of Moses and how Moses had, Aaron, and they were holding up his arms, and as long as his arms were up, they were winning the battle. What's your vision at this point in your career, in your life, for Fraser Net and Fraser Nation wins? Just unpack that a little bit. What do
you? Well, the big thing we're working on two big things. Of course, one intimately, and that is the expansion and the reinvention, in a sense, of wins, because we don't know when COVID is going to be over. We don't know when church is coming back. And so taking that whole model virtually and making some major improvements in our WINS wealth building centers and curriculum. That's huge. Now, why? Because if you want my big, big, big vision, I really want to teach Black people the habits that they will have to break that keeps them broke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
We are financially, we've said it many times, we're financially illiterate people. Not all of us, just most of us. And you cannot survive in a market-based economy in a democratic capitalistic society not understanding what capitalism is and what money is and how to effectively utilize it in a good and righteous way and to get out of the broke zone, right? There are habits that we have that are just going to keep us broke, and we have to break those habits, right? One of them is we don't talk about money.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about money. We don't talk about money at home. We don't talk about it in school, right? And that's really the underpinnings of what WINS is about. It is to get us to talk about money, right? Now, I'm not saying that we're making money or money is our God. No, money is not our God, but it's right up there with oxygen and water. Try to live without money
Right.
or oxygen and water, and let's see how long you live. So how well you live, and when I say well, the ability to send your children to the schools that they deserve to be in, to live in neighborhoods that you deserve to live in, to make investments that you too deserve to earn from, so that you can transfer that wealth to succeeding generations, right? So one, we got to get Black people talking about money. We've got to make that a new habit, right? Another habit that keeps us broke is simple stuff like buying stuff we don't need.
Yeah.
Right? Making impulse purchases.
Right.
Simple things. Paying bills late. Failing to build an emergency fund. Improper use of credit cards. I haven't had a credit card in 15 years. I have a debit card, but you know the difference between a debit card and a credit card, don't you?
Right.
You only spend right, whatever I got in my checking account. So it's like spending cash. So it's not
Wow.
like a credit card, right? So a credit card is, well, you're not really spending anything. I mean, you're getting credit, and you'll pay it off incrementally over time. And most of us, when we were doing it, were paying the minimum payments, and that means you'll never pay it off, right? So I turned to debit cards 15 years ago,
Okay.
and that was like taking cash out of my pocket. And every time I went into my pocket, okay, and had to take cash out, I thought twice about it.
That's right.
And I broke that habit of credit because many, many years ago, I was like most of Americans, right? I had credit card debt that was shameful,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I want to help our people break the bad habits that we have, our addiction to instant gratification versus delayed gratification. I talk about it all the time. That's really what's in my heart. I don't know why. I don't know why God put that seed there and why I have become so anal about it. But I guess in 75 years of living, crisscrossing, and I'm going to say this to our brothers and sisters and still be loved. I've given over 3,000 speeches. I've been to every place Black people have been dispersed. South Africa, Central Africa, East Africa, West Africa, all over North Africa, all over South America, and all over the Caribbean. I've been to Miami to Seattle, from San Diego to Maine. Wherever Black people are, we are in the same economic condition. It doesn't matter where we are. We are at the bottom of the economic totem pole, even on the continent, where we control 70% of the most important minerals on Earth. And Africans are still some of the poorest people per capita in the world. And we control 70% of the minerals, but we can't even get the damn things out of the ground, right? So we have to fix that. And I think it was Amos Wilson, the great Dr. Amos Wilson. Not Google, go on YouTube and look up Amos Wilson and watch every YouTube he's ever made. And brilliant economist. He died in 1994, but he said back in 1994 that our refusal as Black people to confront the issues of money and wealth is going to end up with our very lives being threatened as people on this earth. That's what he said. In 1994, we have to deal with it. He also said, and this is one of my inspirations for Fraser Nation, is only when you look at yourself as a nation can you change things. Right? Can you change things? So that's what, at the Power Networking Conference, we only talk about three things: money, business, right? And wellness, psychological wellness,
physical
wellness, because they're related,
financial,
right? And that most Black people, not all Black people, but most Black people are out of their natural minds.
Wow.
Right? And if you understand the psychological holocaust that we went through for 350 years, it was Francis Cress Welsing,
yes,
who said, right, that the damage is so deep and so great, it has in fact altered our DNA, right? So we have a very systemic and very deep problem that is going to take multiple generations to solve. I've said for many years, it'll take us 100 years to close this gap. It'll take another 3 to 5 generations, right? And that some of our brothers and sisters are simply going to have to die. Right? They don't get it. They never will get it. They'll get old, and hopefully the future succeeding generations will get it. Right. Now, more and more of us are getting it because of the kind of work that you and Marlon and Pastor Sean are doing, and others, right? You met them at the virtual conference, Reverend Dr. Buster Soares, John Hope Bryant. I mean, there's some big minds working on this, right?
That's right.
Big minds.
And Dr. Fraser, you were mentioning, and you mentioned Dr. Soares, and one of the things is I love how when we were having a discussion doing that panel is you mentioned the word delayed gratification. And even when we take that biblically, right, we always talk about the prodigal son, and he goes off, he spends all this righteous living and all this stuff. His problem was he didn't understand delayed gratification. What he wanted his now, rather than waiting until he was mature enough to handle his inheritance. No, I don't want to wait. I want it now. And that's the thing that has gotten our people in so much trouble, is not understanding delayed gratification.
That's right.
Save it so you can afford it. Don't charge it. Don't go in debt to get it, but wait.
That's right. Be patient, make proper investments, get good financial advice. We talk about that all the time in the 4 pillars for the intergenerational transfer of wealth, the proper management of accumulated wealth, right? And that requires delayed gratification.
Exactly.
Right.
And George,
there are ways that you can have nice things, right, and make money. And I tell the story all the time about the deal my wife and I made 48 years ago.
Yeah, this is a great story. Tell us about it.
Right. And she was young and fine and hot and smart, as I found out. And we decided to get married, so I was really sort of testing the waters there a little bit, Marlon. And I said, listen, let's make a deal. And if we make this deal, I think we can fulfill the vows. So she looked at me funny. She said, what do you mean? I said, well, the vows say, till death do us part. She said, oh, yeah, okay. Well, what's the deal? Let's never buy a new car. Let's never buy a new car. Never, ever, ever. She said, well, what do you mean? What are you thinking about? I said, let's buy a used luxury car like a Lexus, 3 years off lease. Make a large down payment on it, Gene, right? And keep our car payment under $200 a month. So she looked at me like I was crazy. She said, well, that sounds interesting. I said, but here's the caveat. Here's what I want us to do. Let's compare when we buy the car, because you're going to have a car and I'm going to have a car. And if we got a $200 or $180 a month car note, let's compare what a new car note would have been for the same, for the year that we bought this 3-year-old car.
Okay.
That's $300 or $400 or $500, Gene. Let's take the difference, your car and my car, and let's put it together and let's invest it in something that provides compound interest.
Whoa. Whoa.
So she said, okay. We've been doing that for 48 years.
Come on. Come on.
We put an average of $300 to $600 a month in an instrument that provided compound interest, and you don't even want to know. Now, anybody that has an ounce of sense investing $300 to $500 a month in something that is producing compound interest, and you sustain that over 48 years,
Woo!
right?
72.
You don't want to know just by making that simple decision. So that's instant gratification and delayed gratification,
Wow.
all at the same time. So
Good.
if you're smart, you got people like Marlon and Tony and Pastor Sean, and you go through our course program, we could teach you how to do those things.
Yes, that's
Right.
it. Yeah. George, let me say this, man. First of all, thank you, because you see, you just dropped a seed.
That nugget right
All
there.
of our viewers, they're saying to themselves, wow, never thought of that. It makes sense. And like you said, to be part of this wins movement is so important. So I do have to ask you this question. I mean, you've got Delano, Fraser Nation, PNC. You've knighted Tony Jackson to be the executive director of Wins International. I want you to, share with our viewers, because many of our viewers, they come every week. This was a download that Tony had, and we've been doing this, the Real Money Coach virtual town hall since April 2nd. We have not missed one show. And George, we only thought we were going to do one or two, because so many people are having problems with the, the stock market and all that, the volatility. And we've just been rolling. I mean, we have people all over the world. So, but I want to ask you, why Tony? I know I'm putting you on the spot. It's international.
Yeah, no. I'm going to tell you, as I told Tony, first and foremost, I trust Tony.
Thank you.
Second, in the financial education and actual application space,
Yes.
he's brilliant.
Yes.
That's second. He's humble, right? It's not about Tony. It's about the people he serves. He has a servant leadership heart.
Yes.
Right? Because I could smell bullshit from 100 yards. Right? So let's not get it twisted. And the only reason I'm old and wise at 75 is because God protected me when I was young and stupid.
Right.
So what does that mean? That means I know young and stupid. Right? And so Tony is significantly younger than I, and he ain't stupid. Wow. So he has character, he has discipline, he is trustworthy, he is obedient. And this is now the discipline and obedience thing, this is what's missing in our people right now. There's discipline and obedience. Right, the things that we're talking about, the habits that keep us broke, and that's disobedience, right, and lack of discipline. That's really what it is. Wow. Right, even for your own good. Right, we're talking about doing things for your own good, and you're not disciplined and obedient enough to do it. All right. So these are things that we have to work on, and we work on them by modeling the behavior that we expect from our people, which means that you have to pick the right leadership that is in fact modeling that. Because as I tell people about their children and being a parent, I said, listen, your children are not listening to you. Your children are watching you. Your children are going to do what you do, not what you say. If you're telling them to save money and they find out you ain't saving no money, right? You tell them to be conservative in their expenditures and they see you're buying stuff that's typically way out of your price range because it looks good, it makes you feel good. So they're going to mimic what you do. At the end of the day, when your children get their heads screwed on right, because all kids go through their periods. At the end of the day, your children want to be exactly like you. Woo! They don't want to be like Charles Barkley. They want to be like their father.
Yeah.
Because if you have a son and you are the right father, you have given your son the right model for being a father. And if you have a daughter, you've given your daughter the right model that she will look for in the man that she will ultimately hook up with. Right? So they want to be, if you're the right parent, the right mom and the right dad, they want to be like you. So they're watching you.
Yes. Powerful. Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. I wanted to, really say that, and we'll let Tony share. But I want to really help everyone. I know we're going to we'll be looping up, wine and Dan, as they say. But here's what I want you to understand. Remember what he said earlier, right? I mean, he said, Marlon, you did good, 75%. It's not what you know, not who you know, it's who knows you. But then he said, it's what they know about you, right? Wow. If you really look at what
you and what is it that they know about you, that's the key. Exactly. And that's what I knew about Tony.
There you go. That's my whole point. See, and for our viewers, I know and there's more for you. That's why everyone wrote yes. And what you just saw was a real life illustration. This is not scripted, as you know. And so I asked Dr. George, why? What was it about Tony? And he just shared all those things that he has observed, right? Not what Tony talks.
That's right.
Right? It's not about what Tony talks. It's about what he sees, the habit, right?
That's right. I'm watching. That's right. That's right. I'm watching, and Tony doesn't know this. I don't tell him. I'm watching how he comports himself. I'm watching how he handles himself around people. I'm listening for what he's saying and resolving problems and how he resolves those problems, right? These are all important leadership qualities.
That's right.
Right? And so they are observable.
100%.
You can observe it, right? What my mama taught me many years ago, what you do speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you say.
Right.
So I'm watching what he's doing, not just what he's saying.
Yeah. Thank you.
And Marlon, you're in the same category. You're in the same category, right? You're in the same category. So as this whole WINS Wealth Building Center and curriculum grows, there is unlimited opportunity for leadership at multiple levels.
Multiple, yeah. And even for our viewers, and many of you have been with us for weeks upon weeks, again, send an email to info@therealmoneycoach.com. Because 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 people, this financial illiteracy issue, it's a crisis. It's a crisis. And yet it's like we're just kind of going through the motions, sleepwalking. So we need you. I'm really right now inviting those that feel a connection with us, this movement. Send an email to info@therealmoneycoach.com. Because that's what it comes down to.
Marlon, this is one thing that we need to do because folks and Dr. Fraser, I felt like, man, I felt even odd just, being on the screen with you saying all those wonderful things. But thank you. You have been a mentor. You've been that person that we look up to and you want to emulate. So you have personified what we want to do. And I was once told by my pastor, he said that Sister Brown, one of the old patriarchs of the church, said to him when he preached his first trial sermon in 1955, he said, she told him after the sermon, she said, young man, I'd rather see a sermon than hear one.
That's right.
And we try to live our life like that. None of us are perfect.
That's
None of us
That's
are,
right.
Nobody walking around here is Jesus Jr., right?
That's right.
But what I want to do is I want to encourage everyone who's on this broadcast, who's listening to this live, who may be listening to the recorder, you've got to do this. We're building a community here, and we need you to go to therealmoneycoach.com, and we need you to opt into our mailing list. That is going to be our primary way that we keep you informed of great programming like Dr. Fraser, like the Power Networking Conference, like the WINS classes that we're doing, like all these other things that Marlon and I are involved in terms of financial education, financial literacy. And Chris, if you could even put that on therealmoneycoach.com, go in, opt into the mailing list, because we want your permission to mail to you. We're going to be starting a private Facebook page. We're going to be doing these things to bring you the very best in money. What are we talking about? Dr. Fraser, this is funny. This show is called The Real Money Coach. And way back in April or so, we got an email from someone that says, man, all you guys talk about is money. I was like, it's called The Real Money Coach. What do you talk about?
In fact, Tony, let me finish up with this. I know we're at the 9 o'clock. I gotta give out brothers and sisters just a little bit of advice. So this little piece is called What Every Black Family Should Have as it relates to money. All right. Now you don't have to have this all now, but get a pencil out and write these things down. And as you grow and evolve and earn more and more, these are things that should be in your portfolio. These are the things that you aspire to and you should have, right? And I have every one of these things in my portfolio. Every Black person should own land. Land. Not only here on earth, but digital land. Digital land. That's the new real estate. Do you own your own name? Do you have a website, right? In the digital space. There are many ways to own digital land. Every Black family should own some gold. Just stash it away. Every Black family should have some crypto. Get advice on that. Every Black family, as I know Tony and Marlon has talked to you about, should have life insurance. A million reasons for it. We've said it a million times. 60% of all wealth is transferred tax-free through strategic and tactical placement of proper life insurance. Every Black family should have an LLC. There are all kinds of tax ramifications and benefits for you. Make your side hustle an LLC. You see how many companies Donald Trump had? About 500 of them. Most of them LLCs. And he ran a lot of stuff through that, and he legally didn't have to pay taxes. Every family should have an investment account and get an expert to help you manage your investment portfolio. Nothing wrong with starting small. Every Black family should have stocks. My wife and I just bought Apple. Apple split 4-1. We bought it right before it split. Right? Get advice on that. Every Black family should have a trust. You can go to LegalZoom and get the papers for a trust for $100. Every Black family should establish a will. I don't care how young you are, especially if you have a life partner. You know that Chadwick Boseman died without a will? You know who's going to get his money? Lawyers. You know that Aretha Franklin died without a will? They're still fighting over it. You know that James Brown died without a will? Here's a little side bit on James Brown. On the list of the entertainers and artists and authors that get the most royalties annually for people using their stuff, you know who's number one? James Brown. They're fighting over that. The lawyers are going to get most of the money. Still fight. You know how long ago James Brown died? Right? And every Black family should produce an essential product. Sell some. Get a side hustle. Right? Invest in a small side hustle. All right? Produce something. You should be doubling your streams of income every single year. That's what we teach at the Power Networking Conference, how to double your streams of income every year. If you come with one, we teach you how to have two. Come with two, we teach you how to have four. Come with four, we teach you how to have 8. Every Black family should have those things. Now, you don't need them all. You may not be able to get them all right now. It's okay. Be disciplined and obedient. Put them on a list and begin contributing increments of your annual income to these things, right? And you will ultimately work your way out of slavery, because the new slavery is debt, and the system is designed that way. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Wow.
Love it. Well, Dr. Fraser, what you just broke down is so important, because I talk to people all the time. And of course, you know, being an insurance expert and that, I always tell them this: what I do is one spoke on the wheel. And there's many spokes on the wheel. You gotta have all the spokes. And I always tell them this: don't put all your eggs in one basket, even if it's my basket.
Yeah, that's right. And try to drive on a wheel where there's spokes that are missing, and see how bumpy that ride is.
Right. And so I love that. And thank you for Donna for putting that in the chat box. We can go back and pull that out. But having those things, there were 10 things on that wheel, 10 spokes. I ain't talking about the spokes on your car. I'm not talking about buying a $500 car and putting $1,000 rims on it. I'm talking about a financial wellness. And you know, I have this idea, and I wrote this, Dr. Fraser, is the financial wheel. And what you just laid out was 10 spokes on that wheel. And Marlon, what we need to do, brother, we need to put together the compilation book, bringing these 10 items, 10 authors together, and deal with these 10 things. We'll have Dr. George Fraser write the forward on the book.
That's it.
Let's make this thing happen.
Right.
The Real Money Coach, Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
Right. I love that.
I like Wheel of Fortune. Well, George, we thank you so much. You know, we appreciate you. You know, you're in Florida right now, and you know, you're, you know, in a hotel, safe, and you know, we just really are grateful, you know, for your visionary leadership. You know, as you said, you're 75 years young, and I know, you know, we've talked, and you said, man, you said, I'm just really tapping into my prime. That's what I want all of us to understand, that there's greatness for each one of us. And if you'd like to have Dr. George back on a future show, type in the chat box, yes or no. You know, this is real-time TV. So, you know, if you say no, okay.
Well, if you say no, if you think I want to say no, you don't, just don't type it in. Okay. You don't have to type it.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I just look at all this, you know, transcendent. Okay. I mean, wow, you gentlemen are amazing. I mean, you know, I'm sure Chris will put it up on the screen, or, you know, I'll knock it out. But yeah, I mean, look at this. I mean, it's just amazing. You know, that was awesome. I mean, they're just flying in now, right? Yes, right? And so, that's really what this is about. We every Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern, we come together. And so we want you to share with your family, your friends, right? Because as Dr. George shared, the power of networking, the power of relationships. And how many of us know family, friends that could have benefited from tonight, right? So if you don't share, if you don't spread the word, it's almost like they're not going to know. And really, to be honest with you, shame on us.
Right.
I mean, if we don't do it, we can get ours. You got your, we got inspired tonight, but let's raise the whole village, right? In South Africa, and George, you've been there. I used to live there. Mm-hmm. There's a word called Ubuntu. And Ubuntu is a Zulu word that means I am because we are. Let that sink in. Mm-hmm. That's what Dr. George has been talking about, networking. And that's why I wanted to ask the question about, what was it about Tony, right? And I also agree. I mean, Tony just is a man of character, a man with a big heart, is committed to making a difference. And also he's committed to excellence. There's a lot of financial advisors, a lot of financial coaches, but this guy, he studies, he goes to conferences, he's always looking to hone and sharpen his saw. And so to me, it's all
constant never-ending improvement.
Come on, Kanai, right?
Right, that's right. Constant never-ending improvement.
So look, George, we didn't have no no's. So they took you at heart. They were like, nobody wrote no. Okay, I'm just saying.
You're being kind. I appreciate that.
I was holding my breath, George. I wasn't sure. There might be one.
Let me finish it. One thought. The thing that I'm most proud of right now at this moment in my life, when it comes to the virtual conference that we pulled off, there's like none other, really isn't. That I'm most proud of myself that I am still thinking, still innovating, still doing God's work at 75.
That's right.
Right. At 7, I'm still, curious and stumbling, but getting up and trying again. And let that be my advice to all of you. It's simple, and it's something I say to people all the time. Do anything, but don't waste my time. I will get more money, but I will not get any more time. And I don't know how much time I have, and I don't want to know, but I'm not going to allow you to waste it, right? Now, this becomes crystallized when you become 75.
Right.
Right? It really sinks.
Right.
75.
Okay.
George, you shared with us, and I know we're closing out, but you shared with us, I think it was the Harvard study about the most productive.
Oh, yeah. I was going to get into that the next time.
Yeah,
right?
next time.
We'll get into that. That's good, Tony. That's right. That's a whole.
Yeah.
That's a New England Journal of Medicine. That's a powerful.
Yeah, that's right.
You want to save that because that's a closer.
That is a closer. Yeah. Well, look, Dr. George, we're going to have you back for sure. This has been really phenomenal. Please stay in the green room just so we can, just really give our hug, our virtual hug. Okay, so do not log off, and we're just going to close out now. And what we experienced today, this evening, was really remarkable. And I'd like for you to type in the chat box. What's your takeaway? What's your takeaway? What's your, because again, it's not about just hearing the words, it's about being a doer. That's what George really talked about, right? It's not about speaking the thing. It's not about listening. It's about taking action. And for him to have started in 1985, right? Where, and had a young upcoming, inspirational speaker by the name of Les Brown, join him on this movement of a networking, and for it to blossom, where we're going to be going to South Africa, Power Networking Conference. And so I want you to get tuned in. Go to powernetworkingconference.com, right? Many of you had said, hey, how can I watch the recording? Get on the list. Or you send an email to info@therealmoneycoach, because to me, this is where we stay connected. And so with that, I want to say thank you to everybody that's tuned in. Thank you so much, because as you can see, look at all these comments that are just here. I mean, so many people just really resonated with tonight. And we're just getting started. I mean, this was just a download that we received. And every day, our dear friend, Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, I'll never forget, he once shared, he said, Marlon, do you know most individuals get 3 to 5 downloads every year, multi-million-dollar downloads. But the thing is, most people don't take action. And so that's why you hear me harping on that, because I want you to understand it's all about taking action. And as you look at all these comments that are coming up, right now, you feel on top of the world. You feel invincible. Why? Because Dr. George Fraser spoke truth. So now that you've received it, now it's your opportunity to walk in your greatness. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're really saying. And so we're so grateful. And again, let's link arms, because Ubuntu, I am because we are. That to me is the power of the Real Money Coach. One of the things that Tony and I realized, we say, hey, let me do what I do the best and let me connect with others so they can do the rest. Think about that. There is something for each one of you to do. Each one of us was born with certain gifts and talents. Let's shine. Let's shine. So with that being shared, we want to say thank you on behalf of the Real Money Coach, Tony Jackson and Chris Jackson. And we say thank you. And so with that being said, let me share one thing that I want to say to you is that a vision without action is just a dream. A lot of action without a vision is merely a passing of time. But a vision with action can change the world. Stay blessed.